Hey, hey. So, ladies, check this out. At some point in our life, we all have been either in this situation or coming out of this situation. Or, hey, if you unfortunate right now, you may be getting ready to go through this situation. And I'm not even going to say unfortunate because it may be a blessing for you. But at some point, we all have found ourselves coming out of relationships, right? And I use that term loosely when I say relationships because for me, unless you married, then, it's no different. Then the title does not matter to me unless it's a wife or a husband. Now some people may beg to differ, except for in situations where, y'all are together and both people have said that, hey, we're in a committed monogamous relationship. Y'all have stated that and y'all moving in that's how y'all both moving. But unless and until a person says that, then just because you could call yourself willy-nilly, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever you want to call yourself, is literally just that. It's what you're calling yourself. Other than that, it doesn't mean nothing unless that person has said that, hey, we're committed, and it's just that. But I said all that to say, at some point, you may be coming off of what has been, years of an investment. You thought that the situation was going this way, and for whatever reason, it went in a totally opposite direction, so now you're here. Now what? So these are some of the things that I found to be beneficial. When you're coming out of a situation and it's over, or you want to get out of the situation, but you don't have a clue maybe of what to do, how to leave it, and let it be done, because it's something that you've been wrestling with in your mind and in your heart for a while. So number one, I would say, make up your mind. You either want to stay or you either want to go. You got to pick a side and you have to stand on it, because a lot of times what we mess up at is, we say one thing, but then we move another way. We say we don't want to be with them, but then, we keep doing things that keeps us tied to them, whether it's having sex with them, whether it's, talking to them, texting them, spending time with them, whatever it is, And sometimes it's also the opposite, where you saying you want to be with them, but really you don't want to be with them. Your whole attitude is garbage. You're not loyal to them in that way in your heart anymore. You really don't even like them, So you saying you want to work on it and you want to stay in it, but really and truly your actions and your heart and your mind is saying something different. So number one, ladies, you have to make up your mind. Figure it out. Pray about it. Talk to a therapist. Whatever it takes for you to pick a side and stay on it. That's the first thing you have to do, because a double-minded person is unstable in all their ways, and that's biblical, And anytime, one day you saying this and the next day you saying that, that's misleading to the person, and it makes you look like you bipolar. It does make you look a little, iffy, when really all it is that, you have not decided on your emotions. Really and truly what it is that you're playing into your emotions, because emotions change. So that's why you back and forth, because you all over the place with your emotions, so when it comes down to, you deciding whether you want to be with somebody and you want them to be in your life, that's a serious decision. And it not only affects you, but it affects them as well. So you have to be, intentional about that, and you have to be serious about that and decide what you want to do. And win, lose, or draw, you got to pick a side, stay on it, right? So that's number one. Number two, when you coming out of a situation, you done decided, hey, this what I'm doing, I don't want this no more. Listen, you have to disconnect yourself in every way from that person. in every single way. And that's going to be one of the hardest things to do, because by this time, chances are y'all have a whole network of people that y'all connected to. You know, you connected to his homeboys, he connected to your homegirls. You know, y'all might be tied in with family, with kids, with this, that, and the third, right? But on an emotional level, and as it pertains to you and them on a personal note, outside of the kids, outside of, you know, y'all social network, outside of maybe even y'all jobs, or, you know, outside of all of that type of stuff, you have to disconnect. You know, you have to really disconnect everything that you can possibly disconnect, if it only has to do with you and them in a personal, emotional, sexual type of way. You have to disconnect. And yes, it will be hard to do, because, you know, chances are y'all have, like I say, chances are y'all have a lot of friends. You know, if y'all have spent years together, years dealing with each other, y'all have a few people in common. Y'all may just even have Facebook friends in common. Guess what? Some of them you're gonna have to delete them too, not because it's personal, but because you don't want to see they post. You don't want to see them saying happy birthday to that person, etc., so forth. You know what I'm saying? And that too will be hard, because then they're going to feel like you feeling some kind of way. But at the end of the day, it ain't even about how they feel, because you making the best decisions and doing whatever you need to do for you. How someone feels about that, you could care less, when you know you're trying to move with intention, and you know you're trying to do the best thing for yourself, right? So that's number 2. You're going to have to just disconnect in every single way. And yes, it's going to be harder when you have kids, harder when you have family members who love them and crazy about them. But like I said, you have to figure out what's best for you, and you have to move intentionally in that direction. Hey, this is what I'm doing. I understand you like them, but understand that that's not the move that I'm making right now. You know, and some things you may have to explain to people when you're able to, or if you decide to. You know, they may be wondering, asking questions, being nosy, whatever. All right. So the third thing that you're going to have to do after you make up your mind that that's what you want to do, after you disconnect from, you know, every which way that you can possibly disconnect from them on a personal, sexual, emotional level, then you're going to have to get busy with the healing process. Then you're going to have to get busy with moving on with your life. Then you have to get busy with your dreams, your goals, because focusing on those things, that's what's going to help you get through. Having some goals, some dreams, some aspirations, some short-term, long-term ideas in mind that you want to accomplish, that's how you're going to be able to divert your mind and your heart from that person and from that relationship that you're leaving. If you don't have anything written down that you want to do, that you trying to work on, whether it's places you want to go, people you want to, you know, chop it up with, that you ain't had time to do that in years because you've been tied up in this situation. Like, if you don't have anything to replace that void, then guess what? Your situation is not going to be successful, because once you take him out, you better have a lot of things to put back in that place. And no, you do not need to put another person in that place if it's not yourself. You're the only person in physical form that needs to be in the place where the significant other was. Now, I'm not talking about God, because you definitely gonna need God through this whole situation. But I'm saying, don't leave your guy and then replace him with another guy, feeling like, okay, well, this gonna help me get through. No, it's not. It's gonna make you miss that other dude. That's what's gonna happen. Then those nights when you be missing him, then you're gonna start back hitting his phone, etc., so forth. So do not try to fill that void with another person. Fill that void with yourself, with your goals, with your dreams, with your healing process. Even if you didn't accomplish everything that you want to accomplish, okay, well then now you got to heal. Now you got to figure out where you went wrong at. Now you got to figure out if you want to be in another relationship, what you want, out of that next relationship if you decide to get in one. You know, who you might want to be with, what type of person. Now you got to pick up the pieces of this relationship that broke. You got to put the pieces back together again. And one thing about a broken relationship, you know, it's kind of like that puzzle that a piece is always going to be missing. Like you'll never be able to fully put it back together again. Right. So once you leave it, you ain't even trying to put it back together again. Like if that circles back and that's what God has for you, then you'll know that too at some point. But for the meantime and in between time, until God just show you that partner, that person is for you after maybe they done healed and did their work, then it's something that you can't put back together. So what you're doing essentially is you're putting together a new puzzle. You're putting yourself back. It's like Humpty Dumpty. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to put the pieces back together again. And like they say, all the king's horses, all the king men, they couldn't put Humpty together again, right? And that's how it is with that relationship. It's just not going to be, you know, conducive of anything. So it just behooves you to put that same energy into just putting yourself back together again, because you will need to do so, because the reality is that you have gave so much of your time and so much of your energy, so many emotions, so much of your body physically and mentally has went into this situation that it's going to take time to get over that person. It's going to take time to get to heal. It's going to take time for you to just, you know, not, you know, for you to basically just unravel, you know, out of that person's, you know, from thinking about them, from wanting to buy things for them when you go to the store. Like, it's going to take a lot of time for you to get past that, right? And it's no rush. It's no rush, because one thing about it, you want to be healed, you want to be whole, you want to, you don't want the past situation to influence your future situation, right? So you want to make sure that your healing is meticulous, like all the little small things. You want those things healed. You know what I'm saying? You want to get past his touch. You want to get past, you know, just longing for that, or, you know, all the little things that you think about, you know, at night when nobody else is around and you miss this or that about that person, right? You want to get past that. So take your time, heal, become whole again, right? But don't let the fact that this situation didn't work, don't let that keep you from being a good person and being, like I said, becoming whole again. Because a lot of times when relationships don't work, it can definitely have a negative influence on us. And then we're not that same person afterwards that we were before, in a bad way, right? Like, we have totally let that relationship change us as a human being. We can't love the same. Like, we don't feel the same. We have a anger or an aggression in us because we have not healed. And we didn't, and even if we felt like we moved on with a vengeance. Like, you know, so that means you weren't really made whole. You really didn't get all of that out your system, and you allowed it to make you become a person that, you know, you really may not even want to be this person. But because the relationship was so sour and it changed you and it hurt you so bad, it left you in a certain space, and you may not even like the space that you're in. So that's why I say you're going to have to heal, and you're going to have to become whole again. And you're going to have to be intentional about not letting the bruises and the war wounds from that relationship affect your person and who you have become. You know, you want to be a better person than you were before that relationship, not a worse person. But if you're not careful and you're not intentional about your healing and your becoming whole again process, there will be some baggage and some negative energy left, and that's what you don't want. So rewind this and listen to it again as many times. It's the top 3 things that you need to do when it's time to move on.